Hi Flosstube, this is Katie Carney from Katie's Stitching. I'm coming to you live, well not live, but I'm coming to you from Scranton, Pennsylvania, and it is December 29th of 2019, and this is my 10th Flosstube. I've made it to 10. Who would have even thought a year ago, well not a year ago, 6 months ago, that I would make it to 1. I'm on the floor today for a variety of reasons, one of which is I normally film over here, and it's a mess. My boyfriend's gifts are in a box because he hasn't been able to take them home. I have a giant gnome that is a friend of mine's. It's here. And then just general end of year crap. And that thing that you can kind of see here, that's a nightstand that needs to go up to the attic. It's not good. The rest of my room I've like dusted and vacuumed and post-Christmas really cleaned, and I put my Christmas decorations away. And then there's this, which is stressing me out, but can't do it all in a day. I'm one of those people who in the new year I organize. I try to. So like yesterday I did the top drawer there. That is this is like a sitting room, but I have my makeup and scarves and like hair and stuff in there. So the top drawer, I bought some like little bins, and I got rid of some makeup that I have had for way too long, and I like vacuumed the drawer and I did the whole thing. So that took longer than I care to admit. And that was yesterday's job. And then I'm telling myself I'm going to pare down some books this year, and I have the last several years, but I've pared down a lot, so the ones that are left I really don't want to get rid of, but we'll see. Anyway, it is the 29th, so Christmas happened a couple days ago. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday. I did. It was a good couple of days. My brother and his wife arrived on Monday. I took her and him and my grandmother out for dinner to celebrate her birthday, which had been Sunday. Christmas Eve, there were 10 people. We had tacos. We celebrated a lot of the Polish traditions that I grew up celebrating. We went to midnight mass, and I sang Christmas carols really loud. Which midnight mass is at 10 o'clock, which also meant that so I'm Roman Catholic, and at midnight, like when it becomes Christmas Day, all the church bells ring. And it's not like it used to be. A lot of the churches have closed, but for me, that is Christmas. And then at midnight mass, when the priest, he always carries the baby Jesus to the manger, and for me that is also Christmas. So anyway, I had a wonderful Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. My friend Sarah from New York City, she came in on Christmas Eve. I picked her up at the bus station, and she stayed until the day after Christmas. Christmas Day, I got some lovely gifts. I have Amazon gift cards. I got so much money to spend. Can't wait. I've already bought a couple patterns that I had been wanting or needing, one of which I not cast on, this is not knitting, one of which I started today, but I'll get to that. So it was a great holiday. Everybody's gone. My grandmother's been doing laundry frantically. Today we were supposed to go to New Jersey to see my uncle, who we had seen Christmas Eve, and one of his kids who we didn't see. But we were expecting ice, so we decided to stay home. We went out for lunch, and then I've just been stitching in the afternoon. I did a little bit of organizing and cooking for the week, stuff like that. So it's been a really mellow weekend, and y'all, I needed it. Like, I love Christmas. I love Christmas Eve, but hosting 2 days in a row is a lot. That's a lot of people in my house, and having house guests for that long and still working. So it was really nice to have these couple days of like rest. And then I think New Year's Day, well, as you know, it'll be the KC Christmas Village. Sal will be starting for me New Year's Day, so I'm so looking forward to that. So anyway, on to the stitching. I'm sure you're tired of listening to me. So, as I said last time I showed you Laura, my brother's wife's, I don't know why I can't seem to make my, she's my sister-in-law, but I call her my brother's wife. I don't know why, I don't know. Anyway, I finished her pillow, and I was going to work on Grayson's birth announcement, and I did, and I got some pretty good progress for a week, especially considering Christmas was in there, and there were several days that I didn't stitch. I am, however, glad that I did not get more progress than I did, because my friend has decided she doesn't need it. She already has one and she doesn't want to. And she's like a cloud, and I adore her, and I adore her son, and I am happy she told me, but wish I hadn't have done this much work. So it's Cross Stitch Factory, and the top row was already done, and I did this week Darth Vader. And then I was just starting, this was like a stormtrooper or something, and I had just started that last night, and I was going to work on it today, and I sent her a message, and I was like, do you actually want this second birth announcement? And she was like, well, I was like, okay. So, you know, Darth Vader, he was a giant pain in my doopy to stitch. And then last night I finished the black part, and I was like, I'm gonna be lazy and I'm not gonna put the white in there. But then I felt guilty because I love Grayson and I want him to be happy, and obviously my stitching something is, you know, what's making him happy. So I took the time, and all of that in there, that's white. I added the white for nothing. It's all good though. He has so many things I've made. I just wish I wouldn't have wasted so much time on this. There are so many other things that I want to be working on. So that left me with a conundrum. I have been planning to start the village on either the 31st or the 1st, and I could have started it today. I mean, it's like, it's ready to go, but I didn't want to. Like, I had a plan to start that on the 31st or the 1st, and I wanted to stick with that. So then I needed a project. So then, on this nice clean floor here, I got out all of my stitching magazines that I have accrued, but I really wanted something. So this area here has kind of become like my spot that I change with every season and holiday. So I was like, well, I either want something Valentine's Day, which I could find nothing that I already had, or I want it to be winter. So I did find in the winter just cross stitch. Let's see. Watch, I'm going to drop my camera again like I did last time. I found something that I was going to work on, and I had all the threads for it, so that works. And it's, hang on, let's see, I don't want to show you the pattern. So I was going to do, ooh, wow, you cannot see that at all. They're so small. That's awful. Yeah, no, can't see it. It's too dark. I wonder if I give you some light. Hang on, let's give you some light. Does that help? There we go. Look at that. Flashlights on cell phones. So I was going to do the little snowflake with the robin, because it was white, and it was all colors I had already. So I'm all set and ready to start it, and I flip into Instagram just in passing, and I remember that Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts had put out her winter sampler banner today. Now, I have not done, the pillow was one of her patterns. It was the Pride and Prejudice book club stitch along. And she's done all the other seasons, and some of them are a little too primary color for me, but this is not primary colors at all. Hang on, my hair. Okay. Let me turn the screen up. So, I went online and used one of my Etsy gift cards, and I don't know how much you're going to be able to see. Maybe if I turn the screen down a little bit, let's see. There, that's a little better. So it's just like a band up here and then trees, and then it says a time for rest before we renew. And it's quite charming. As her stuff often is, she finished it really cutely. I'm sorry, I don't have a printer here, so I'm using my cell phone to read the pattern. So I was like, well, that's perfect, that's what I'll start. So I have this lovely fabric, and it's the color Lock by Picture This Plus, and it is a 28 count cashel. I had started one of my grandmother's ornaments on this. I spent like $50, and I bought a just bunch of some woman's old fabric that she was not using anymore, and this was one of them. And I started stitching that in hand, and at first I thought, well, maybe I just can't stitch in hand, and I can't actually just stitch in hand. That is a true fact. But I also think it might be, it's not quite an even weave, it's kind of messy. So it's like hard to, how do I describe it? Hard to count. The holes are like different sizes. Sorry, I'm like taking this apart. The holes are different sizes. So when you're working on it, it's really hard to count, like, you know, the 1.5 or 2 stitches, because it's 2 over 2. Sorry, I should not be doing this while I'm here. You guys must hate me, but that's okay. Everything's fine. Sorry, I just wanted to be able to show it to you. And then I've also not really been able to get it to lay right on this, and that's a future Katie problem. But I started this afternoon. I had to rip out a lot of, over here was this little ornament. That took me over an hour because it was white. Sorry, I know this looks not great. Now we know not to film on the floor again. So yeah, I got the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows done using 2 shades of white. I happen to have all the called for colors. It calls for, let's see, it was only 5 colors: gray, pewter gray, steel gray, winter white, and snow white. And although she used a more like, well, what color was it? It was Silver Ada from Hobby Lobby, which I didn't have at home, but I did have this. I thought this blue. So the blue with the, I think they really pop. Hang on. So I think they really show up well. So I'm excited about that. The only thing I'm not excited about is I have, what is it, 5208 or whatever, and 3865 are 2 different shades of white. I can't see the difference, even a little bit. I should have just used the same white. Nobody would know but me. But that's okay. And I pulled out my special edition sampler stitcher Bitsy Bob, because it felt like this is a band sampler and this is the one I should use. Not gonna lie, some of those Etsy gift cards I got, probably gonna buy me a new Bitsy Bob that I don't need. So anyway, this is my current whip. It's technically my only current whip right now. This is it. So it's going to get some real attention. I'll probably stitch some more tonight. And then maybe a little bit tomorrow. I have to go to a viewing right after work. My boss's mother died. And the viewing's like 45 minutes away. So I'm going to take myself out for some Chick-fil-A because there's one in the town I'm going to be in and go to her viewing. But we shall see. And then that is my current whip. I do think though, because I'm not stitching Grayson's thing anymore, that I might pick up the Gingerbread Village sooner than I had planned. And then I did get the 24 hours of cross stitch planner, and my boyfriend's supposed to print it out for me because I don't have a printer, but he hasn't yet because he's forgetful. I might just take it to Staples and have them print it. Might have to happen because I really do want to sit down with paper in front of me and make a plan, partially for the ornaments for next year. I'm gonna need 20 again, so I want to get that started. And then just kind of knowing my plans for each month so I can have a goal in mind. I like to have a goal. So my plans for this week are to start the KC Christmas Village Sal. Yay! I had said I was either going to start this New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. Turns out my boyfriend is going to come over for New Year's Eve dinner. I'm assuming he's going to leave by 10, which is fine because I like to sleep, but I don't stitch after 10 o'clock if I don't have to because then I make a lot of mistakes. So I will be starting this New Year's Day. I don't have any plans New Year's Day. I'm sure that I will cook some pork so that, you know, I can have some pork in 2020, but other than that, no plans. And my plans are to detangle this mess and start. I'm going to start with the first one, which is, wait a tick, it's the one with Santa on the roof. Wait, where is Santa? Oh, there he is. So that's again with the no light. Terrible. Never get on the floor, guys. It seemed like such a good idea at the time, but it was not. Let's see if I can. Oh, there. Santa on the roof there. I could also take it out of the package, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to start with that one. I'm just going to go in the order that they have them in. Having a little anxiety about it. I don't know if I'm a good enough stitcher. Every time I look at the pattern, my stomach goes, ooh. So we shall see. So, you know, if you could all keep your fingers crossed for me and my village. So it's the end of the year, and, you know, I'm talking about my new starts for 2020, and, you know, I started cross-stitching in May. I think I explained that in my first video. I was really not feeling motivated with my knitting. I hadn't really been knitting for like a year, a little bit here and there, projects as I needed them, baby blankets a lot. And I was really hankering for something new, and one of the reasons I never really got into cross stitch is because the kits and stuff that they have at Joann's are just not the best. Like they're not my favorite. The Dimensions kits, they're all things that I can't imagine having in my home. I'm more like sampler. I love Country Cottage Needleworks. Like they're not full coverage. I don't need I don't know. It's just not my style. So anyway, Mel kept posting pictures. I think she's Mel's Stitching now or something. She did change her name, Stitcher Mel, of her glitter village, and that's really what got me into cross stitch. And I started my ABC blanket because I already had the blanket blank, and it came with the pattern, and I already had floss, and I just started one day in May. I wish I had the date. I bet I could find it though. Let's see. So I just started, and the rest is history. Let's see. I did the first one May 26th. I don't know if you can see this, but May 26th. And it is Stitcher Mal, I'm right about that. And I started because I wanted to, you know, make the glitter village, and now I have the patterns, and at the time I thought that would be the most expensive thing I ever purchased with cross stitch. So anyway, it's only been June, July, August, September, October, November, December. It's been 7 months of stitching, and I thought I should show you. I have an Ort jar, and that's 7 months. This is the Guatemala Reunion 2018 that you probably can't see there, but it's from my mom's family reunion in 2018. They're from Ohio. They have a family farm, and the family's huge. You know, my grandma was one of like 10, and farm family, and you know, they do these big reunions, and my brother and I try to make a point to go. So they only do them like every 10 years. And this was one of the, I stole it. They didn't have enough, and I took it. And because my grandma was such a talented craftswoman, so I'm assuming that any actual talent I have, which isn't a lot, I don't have a lot of talent, it's from her. So, you know, she cross-stitched and sewed and quilted and knit. I don't think she crocheted. And she was just incredibly talented, and if this felt like the right thing to put my orts in, although I'm going to empty them on the 31st and see how many I get for 2020. This community has been so much fun for me. I love getting to know you all. I love, you know, like Coco, which is not her real name, but I call her my girl Coco. She and I have become like real friends, and I messaged her on the Instagram probably and annoy her too much. And it's just been so fun, and to be starting a Sal with Laura is really exciting, and I know that some of you are planning to participate, and I hope that you will use the hashtag KC Christmas Village Sal, and I look forward to making ornaments with you in 2020. But sincerely, thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being such a supportive community. It's really fun. Thanks for not minding that I'm sitting on my floor. I hope you all had a lovely 2019. I know many people say that it was very hard, but I try not to. Mine was no worse than anybody else's, and I think that the good outweighs the bad, and also, you know, I think that's just life, is sometimes things are good and sometimes they're bad. Anyway, I hope your 2020 is wonderful. I look forward to catching up with you. I do plan to film next week, I hope. Let's see. That's December, Katie. Yes, I am free next weekend, in that I'm not traveling. So I do plan to film and hopefully have good news about my Christmas village. Wish me luck. But Happy New Year, darlings. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to catching up soon. Toodles!